Just give me a minute. We'll just simply start off. Okay, my server is starting. Anyway, I'll start from the topic. Okay, so this is going to be my 14th batch. So what I'll do is I'll just simply give it as B14. Okay, so there is a significance why I keep this name for my tracking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an application with the name called as GB14 or JB14. Okay, so I'll just simply first let my Pega server start, and then we'll see. Okay, so just to have a quick revise, yesterday we have talked about framework application and implementation application. What do you mean by framework application? The place where the reusable components are going to be present. What do you mean by implementation application? The place where the implementation specific things will be there. Implementation specific things will be there. Okay, for example, if you take, just try, whenever someone is talking about framework and implementation, you just simply try to remember this particular concept. So this will give you a clear idea on how the difference between framework application and the implementation application is going to be. Okay, so Girish is not able to hear me. So what about other people? Are you able to hear me clearly?
I'm able to hear you.
Okay, so Girish, I think it's your problem, bro. So please check and log in back again. Okay, so we'll just simply check if my server has started. Yes, it started. So now what we'll do is, first thing is we'll create our own application. From now onwards, whatever that we are going to do, we'll do in that particular application part. So today's agenda is very simple. We are going to discuss about application creation, and post that we'll see about installation. Okay, these are the two things. So I'm assuming that all the people who are joined here, those are enrolled people. So this is my first class. So whatever that we have discussed till now, okay, those are also will be considered as classes only. But only thing is those are going to be terminology classes. Terminology classes. Those are equally important. So let me just simply log into our application and create one. So the recommended browsers, we'll talk about this in installation. Okay. So whenever you want to create any application, the default ID that you have to log in, please take a note of it. Administrator at pega.com. Administrator at pega.com. This is the default user ID using which you have to log in into 7.2.2. Okay, we are working on 7.2.2 version, which is the most common used version. Okay, and also many of you will be projecting yourself, and also many of you will be projecting yourself as a some experienced people, some Pega experienced people. So we should not keep a version which is very recently released. So 7.2.2 is released sometime 2 years back. So you can, not 2 years back, yeah, you can, 2.2 is released 2 years back and 7.2 is released sometime 3 years back. Okay, so you can keep an experience of 3 years if you keep it as 7.2.h in your resume. Okay, so for 7.2.2, this is the password, this is the ID, and the password is install, INSTALL, install. So I'll just simply log in.
One question here.
Yeah.
Companies will have different username passwords, right? They will also continue this administrator.
No, no, no. They will have different username and password. So I'll show you how to create that one also.
Okay.
Okay, so normally you will be no matter what, either it is going to be a company or either it is going to be normal application, this is how it is going to be. So the initial ID that they are going to use to create the very first application is going to be administrator@pega.com and password is going to be install. So I'll just simply log in into this install, and I'll go to this cube icon only where I'm going to see the default application Pega rules. Where we have discussed about this Pega rules application. What is this Pega rules application? Pega rules is application is the default application that is going to come with Pega installation, where all the reusable components whatever that are developed by Pega systems are placed. So if you open this particular application, which type of rule sets you will be seeing? We have to see Pega dash rule sets. We have to see Pega dash rule sets. So let's just verify that. I'll just simply open the application. See here, all the rule sets whatever that are present in this particular application are Pega dash rule sets. So, and also these Pega dash rule sets are only accessible or editable only by Pega systems developers. Normal developers like us will not be having access to it. Until and unless you are working in Pega systems, you will not have access to these things. Okay, so in this particular, after logging with administrator@pega.com, you just have to simply click on this Pega rules and you go and click something called as new application. Okay, this is the place where we are going to create a new application. So I'll just simply click on new application. Okay, so there will be different templates that will be there, request, approval, service request and all. Since we haven't discussed anything, I'll go with custom. So here I'll just simply click on custom. See here, this is a basic template, basic type of application that we are going to create. So I'll just simply select this, use application type. Here it is saying that use the custom template to create an application that contains no predefined case types or data types. That means like nothing is predefined in this particular application. When I say, if you see this particular one, request, approval, service request, there will be some kind of predefined stuff. That kind of predefined stuff will not be there in this particular custom, this one. So I'll just simply click on this custom and I'll go to this use the application type. And Pega has something called as dynamic adjusting nature. Okay, some dynamic adjusting nature. We call it as adaptability. We call it as adaptability. What do you mean by adaptability? Normally, when we build a code in Java, we will write the logic. We will write the entire logic. And when it comes to UI, we will go to the customer and we will ask one confirmation from him. The confirmation is, okay, boss, I'm done with the processing logic in the background processing logic, but please tell me in which kind of UI you are going to deploy my code, whatever that I'm writing now. Because if he says that he is going to deploy that in a laptop, you will write based on some dimensions. If he says that he is going to use a tablet, you are going to write UI code with different dimensions. If he says that he is going to use a mobile, you are going to write it with a different dimensions. So Pega has something called as responsive. Something has responsive. When we select this particular responsive option, what happens is PRPC, the rule execution engine of Pega, what it will do is it will generate whenever whatever coding that we are going to do in the background, whatever coding that we are going to do or whatever coding that we are writing, in the background it will generate supportive or responsive codes for all these things, tablet, laptop or mobile. Once we select it as responsive, it can be deployed anywhere. Okay, so you just simply select it as responsive, and then you just simply select any of these color themes, no problem. And here this is the place where we have to give our application name. So I'm planning to give my application name as, just a minute, let me check if GB4 is not created, is created or not created. Just give me a minute. So I'll just simply go here. Okay, very good. So my application name will be, let's say that is JB01. Okay, let's say that it is JB01. Why to go for G? G is most frequently used one. So I'll go with JB01. So I'll just simply click on advanced configuration here. Okay, so here see application structure. What type of application that you want to create? If you want to create it as framework, you have to check this particular radio button. Okay, if you want to create it as implementation, then you are going to select it as implementation. So the point of creation or the process of creation in the background is going to be same. Only thing is the application which is selected as framework can be used on top of other applications. I'll show you by selecting another application which is created as framework. So I'll just simply select this implementation and I'll give my naming. This is my application name. JB01 is my application name. So I'll just simply give my organization name also like this, something like this. JB0101. Okay, so I'll just simply click on save. Okay, now I'll just simply click on create application. Very simple. Only thing is you just have to click on this advanced configuration, and this is the place where you are going to decide which type of application that you are going to create. If you are going to create a framework application, you are going to select this particular above option, and if you are going to create implementation application, you are going to create this one. So in Pega 5 and Pega 6, there is a lot of process. All those process has been automated into 3 simple steps, where we are going to select the application type, where we are going to select the application nature. When I say application nature, in the sense responsive, tablet and mobile. The third type, what we are going to do is, like, we are going to select this one. So whether it is going to be framework or implementation, third step. So I'll just simply click on save, and I'll just simply click on create application. So it will take time. It will take 2 to 3 minutes of time. In the meanwhile, what we'll try to analyze is, what are the different things that we need at the moment, based on the discussion whatever that we had in the past 4 classes. What are the different what are the different tools that we need at the moment? What are the different tools that we need at the moment to log in into application and to work on it? So the very first thing that comes into my mind when I say I have to log in, I should have an operator ID. Okay, operator ID. So whenever I say I have an operator ID, I should have access group and an application also. Okay, 3 rules should be there. So within the application, what should be there? Rule sets. Within the application, what should be there? Rule set should be there. Okay, in this particular operator ID, sorry. So what type of operator ID should be created? Developer operator ID. One developer operator ID should be created. Developer operator ID and end user operator ID also should be created. Okay, in the same way, what type of access group should be created? Developer access group, developer access group and end user access group. Okay, how will you distinguish between developer operator ID and developer access group and end user access group? Basing on the portals and the roles option, whatever that we have seen. Application is going to be same for both these things, both developer access group and end user access group. The portal and the role option, I'll show you. So I'll just simply go back Let me just simply close this. Unnecessary windows. Okay, see here, it is saying congratulations, JB01 has been configured and it is ready to use. But there is something called as user accounts created. So you just simply expand this. So here it is giving you a list of operator IDs that got created and the access groups that got created. So here if you see, JB01 is the administrator's access group. This is also can be called as developer access group. So how will you say that it is a developer access group? Okay, so here if you see admin@jb01 is the developer operator ID. I am saying that it is a developer operator ID. How it is becoming a developer operator ID? You just simply click on this particular operator ID. Whatever that we have discussed so far. So operator ID admin@jb01, and this is the new access group that got created. If you open this particular access group, see JB01 administrators. Where is it? JB01 administrators. Okay, so if you click on this particular access group, see here application name is JB010101. But if you see the portals developer, Pega PY Express, Pega Express, PY Case Manager, PY Case Worker. Okay, and see here developer portal is defaulted by using radio button. So that is the reason I am saying that this is a developer access group, and the operator ID which is mapped to this one will be obviously developer operator ID. Okay, in the same way, see here this author and manager, those are going to be by default created. At the moment no change will be there, just leave them. See here user access group, end user access group. I'll just simply click on this end user access group. Okay, so here if you see user@jb01, and here this is nothing but end user access group. It is not end user access group because in the name it is having user. So how you will verify? You just simply open it. Okay, application name, what is the application name? JB010101. So whatever that we have given, so both developer access group and the end user access group are having same application name. So which means both the access groups are pointing to same application. Okay, but the person who is having, as you know, the operator ID who is having these particular things, developer as an option, he will be seeing the designer studio, which is nothing but our developer window. But the person who is having only case worker will be seeing the end user portal. We will verify that also. Okay, so now we just simply log off. So what is the this one that it's saying? Log off, and see here what is the default password. It is getting created as rules. So I'll just simply click on log off. Okay, admin@jb01. This is the password, right? Sorry, ID. Password is rules. So the first thing what you have to verify. Let's just assume that this is the first application that we are creating for an application. So what we have to verify is whether our particular application and the rules whatever that we have discussed so far are created properly or not, are properly created or not. So first we will always start from operator ID. So you just simply click on this, go to operator. Operator ID got created properly, access group is properly mapped. I'll just simply open the access group. Application name is there. If you open the application related rule set should be there, because every rule, whenever we are going to create any rule, there should be a rule set to which we can associate it. Okay, one more time, there should be a rule set to which we can associate it. We'll come to that tomorrow. So I'll just simply click on it. So here our application specific rule sets, 4 different rule sets are there. By default, Pega Systems basically is assuming that any development should need 4 different rule sets. Okay, since we are doing a small application, that too like for explanation purpose, we may or may not need, but anyway, since it has been created, we'll just simply leave it. So next point what we have to check, whatever reusable functionality that is created by Pega Systems developers, we should be able to access it. How we will check whether we are able to access that particular one or not? by checking the application rule name. See, Pega rules 0710. Okay, this is the application which is created by Pega Systems, and that is present in our built-on applications. So what is the impact of having this Pega rules application here? If you see your operator ID profile, okay, so these Pega dash rule sets will be coming in your rule set stack. Okay, so I'll just simply go here, and this is how you have to verify whether everything has been created properly or not. Your application should be properly there. If you open this particular application, you should be able to open the same window. See, same application is there. So you should be able to see the rule sets, you should be able to see the access group, and you should be able to see this one. One more thing, we are talking about developer only. So now I'll just simply go to a new window, and here, what is that? User @JB01. Password is rules. See, he is logging into caseworker portal. Very simple. He is not logging into developer operator ID, he is logging into caseworker portal. Okay. So now what you can do, you just simply go to so this should be fine. If you go to profile, so it will show you whatever application name that you have given in the advanced options. Okay, JB010101, whatever that we have given there, and our end user access group name will be specified. Okay, so this is how you have to verify that, okay, we are seeing that particular person, we are seeing the correct person. That is what you have to check basically. Okay, so now what we'll do, we'll just simply log off. Okay, we'll just simply leave this fellow for a while, and we'll discuss some more components, and then we'll come back to this one. So this is how it is going to be. So now what we will do, I'll just simply close this, and we'll just simply discuss a little bit about Designer Studio itself. Okay, in the Designer Studio so far, what are the options that we have discussed? We have discussed about the option, whatever cube that we are seeing here, whatever cube that we are seeing here in the heading option, this is nothing but our application. Okay, and whatever that this particular thing is the place where we can open the operator ID and the access group and profile details and etc. Okay, so the next option is this rocket icon. So for some people it will be only rocket icon, for some people it will be rocket along with launch name. Okay, so if you just simply click on this launch, it will show you Pega Express, Pega Case Manager 7, Pega Caseworker, 3 things. What are these 3 things? These 3 things are 3 different views. Okay, this Pega Express and Pega Case Manager are nothing but some kind of manager portals. You can keep them aside. We are bothered about this Designer Studio and also Caseworker portal. So I'll just simply click on this Caseworker portal. So here if you see, again we are seeing the end user portal. Why a developer should need an access to end user portal? Because whatever work that is done by developer, he should be able to test it. He should be able to do the unit testing of it, whether it is actually working or not. He should not test that particular application in the Designer Studio, because Designer Studio is nothing but a place where developer is going to create something and modify something. So he should be always testing those functionalities in the end user portal. And to access end user portal without logging off from the current application, a developer will be able to launch the Caseworker portal, and he will be able to create all the cases or all the applications, scenarios, whatever that he has written code for it, and he can test it. So how he is seeing this particular Caseworker portal when he is already mapped to this Designer Studio? That is also because of our access group. If you open your access group, in the access group at the bottom, what is the last option that is there? Caseworker portal. Okay, so see here, everything is revolving around the same rules, whatever that we have discussed in the terminology. So that is how it is going to be in further also. So I'll just simply close this, and this is how this launch option is going to be. So here if you see, there is something called as create. If you just simply click on this create, these are all the different rule types, whatever that we can create in Pega. So we are going to slowly learn what are the different important types of rule types that we are going to see. These are all the different rule types. So for example, if you say, I'll just simply go to this property, and if you just simply click on it, it will show you the initial window using which we can create this particular rule type. So this rule type is nothing but property. We are going to see it. Okay, this particular rule type. So that is how this create option is nothing but a place where, or an option where we can create different kinds of rule. There are many ways where we can create a new rule, but this is one of the primitive way. Okay, and after this search icon, this is nothing but kind of search bar. Within the Pega, if you have already created something, let's say that you have already created an operator ID, right? So I'll just simply create admin @jb01. This is an operator ID. So what I will do, I'll just simply enter my operator ID, and I'll just simply click on enter. See, it will show you, and that means like whatever rules that are created in the current application, all those rules will be searched, and whatever that you have input, whatever that you are searching here, it will be listed down here. Operator ID. You just simply expand this, and this is how, if you click on this, it will open. Designer Studio will open that particular rule. This is how you are going to search for the rule in Pega. Okay, this is nothing but a kind of mini search engine within Pega. Okay, where you are going to key in the rule name, and that particular rule can be opened by seeing the drop down whatever that we have. Okay, and resources. What is this resources? This resources is nothing but these things will take you to different Pega related stuff. That means, like for example, if you click on this Pega 7 help, it will open Pega 7 help, where you have to go through a lot many things which will help you to understand Pega a little bit more. If you have time and if you can go through, that is very good. Okay, but don't go through now at the moment, because like it is going to be very tough for you to understand what they are speaking. You can do it once we complete around 50% of our class. I'll let you know when to go. Okay, so this is about heading ribbon. This Designer Studio is nothing, is just a simple template, nothing is there. So whatever create options that we have, the same options will be there here. Okay, but some of them will not be there. These are meant to be used at Designer Studio level. Okay, so now the left hand side, this particular records. Okay, records. This is the place where, for example, just before creating the application, whatever that we have done so far, I just did a small verification. What is that? I just verified whether that particular application is there or not in the server. So whatever rule types that are there in the server, if you know the rule type, you just simply click on this. Okay, for example, I want to search all the applications that are there in the server. So you just simply click on application. All the application rules, whatever that are there in the server, will be listed here. Okay, so here if you see JB01, this is our application, whatever that we have created. So by whom it is created, when it is created, all these informations will be there. So in the same way, you can open any other rule also, no problem, not only application. For example, if you take any user interface, and I will go to section. See, these are all the different sections that are available in the server at the moment. So for example, if you open this, it is taking some time, but it will open. See, this is some kind of UI. How it is going to come, you just simply go to actions and see the preview. it is not working, try out something different. Okay, so some kind of UI, whatever it may be. This is how basically you are going to identify. So one option is to go to this particular search bar where you can key in all the rule name. If you know the rule name, you can go to the search bar and you can just simply search for it. But if you know the rule type and if you don't know the rule name, then what is the option? You have to come to records and you have to expand the proper category and you have to go to the subcategory and then you can click on it and all the rules whatever that are there, all of them will be listed here. So here if you see 142 pages of them are there. So for example, if you take 50 are there, 142 into 50, those many sections are there in this Pega application. So that is how it is going to be. This is how this particular records option is going to be. So in the all the recent rules whatever that we have opened so far in the last 20-30 rules whatever that we have opened, it will be listed here. So what is the advantage is if you want to reopen the same rule again, you don't need to search for it or you don't need to go to records. You can just simply click here and that particular rule can be opened, that particular rule will be opened again. So you can simply take this as a cache option, whatever using which we can open the rules whatever that we are most frequently accessing. Okay, this app data and cases will come later. Okay, and this tracer, clipboard and bottom options also we'll talk about it later. Okay, this is how you are going to create an application and this is how you are going to log in into screen and this is how you are going to access everything. So the next thing is creating your own operator ID. So you just simply click on this operator ID, whatever that we have created, that is created by Pegasystem automatically, and there is something called as in the save there will be a drop down where you can do a simple save as. Okay, let's say that I'll give this particular name as Vijay. Okay, I'll just simply give this. So I'll just simply click create and open. So you have to change these full names also or else your name will not be properly displaying. And this email you can give it anything, no problem. Only these are the things that you should change. So you just simply click on save. Okay, now I'll just simply log off and I'll log in with Vijay. Password is rules. Say I log in into our application only. So now what we have discussed, previously we have logged in with admin. Now we have logged in with Vijay. So two people are having access to same application. So how you can manage this basically? So you just simply go to your access group. You can open your access group. Okay, in the access group there is an tab called as operators. You just simply click on this operators and it will show you the list of people who are having access to this particular application. Okay, so I'll just simply, if whatever operator ID that you want, you don't want to have access, you can just simply open that particular operator ID and either you delete it or either you remove this particular access and give some other access, some default thing. So what I will do, I have too many things, I'll just simply delete this. So I just simply give delete like this. Okay, so this is how an operator ID is going to be created and it is also going to be scrapped. So now if you just simply refresh, so it will come like this. So once you log in and next time you will be no longer able to access it. So Vijay, password is rules. No. And admin @JB01. Password is rules. As good as that.
In real time, admin will take care about all this access related.
We have discussed that 3 different people will be there, right? Lead system architect and senior system architect and certified system architect. Basically junior Pega developer. Lead system architect is going to take care of these responsibilities because like lead system architect is the person who has a complete knowledge on the application and he is the person who is going to decide who is going to work on which type of applications and all. So he is going to take care of it.
Okay, and
Okay.
Pega will connect to LDP server because how they will map users to this Pega?
End users.
End user IDs means company users will have 521 IDs or employee IDs, right?
Yes.
So how can they map the same ID to this Pega?
So what they will do is, like, they will just simply use some other authentication mechanism, just like you have mentioned LDP mechanisms. So that can be implemented. That is a different path. Okay. Initially, what they will do is, like, whatever, if they want to access this particular Pega application, what they will do is, like, they will use those operator ID. They will create the same operator IDs in Pega application, but with the end user portal access.
Okay.
Okay. So you just simply create your application like this. Our application name is JB01, and when you're practicing also, please proceed with the same name, so that what happens is it will help, for both of us to be in sync. So the next thing is application installation part. These people, institute people, will be sharing you a link. Institute people will be sharing you a link, Google Drive link basically, where you are going to download a software. Okay, Pega 7.2.2, which is going to have some name, something like this. Okay, the one which I have highlighted. So if you extract, you have to, this is going to be some 4 GB zip file. You have to extract this particular content, entire content, into D drive, and that too also the very first folder. That means like something like this, Pega. And if you open that particular Pega, inside the content of that particular zip file should be there. Okay, after extracting it, there will be a file called as install.bat. You just simply click on it, and rest of the process is net. You don't need to change anything. But when it asks a place where it is going to ask you where it should install, instead of selecting C drive, you just simply select it as D drive and give some other folder name. That is the only change that you have to do, and it should be able to install. Okay, since it is already installed, I cannot show it directly, but after downloading that particular software, you should be able to access it. Okay, you should be able to install it. So how you will come to know whether your software is properly installed or not? On the desktop, you will be seeing three.
I installed in. Hello, Kumar.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually I installed in C. That's not a problem, right? In C drive.
No problem. That should not be a problem. Only thing is, why we will say is, for some systems, normally, because of 1 TB hard disk, no problem will come. But for some systems, still they are using 500 GB and all. If C drive is very less,
anyways,
anyway,
it's having
just
350 GB of free space in C.
Yeah, that should be fine. No problem. If you are having free space, that should be fine. Okay.
Yeah.
I am talking about, generally we will say this.
Okay, got it.
Just to be sure that your system is not getting stuck, because like Pega is a very heavy software. Okay.
Got it.
So when you have installed it, what happens is 3 icons will be there in the desktop. Okay, where the first icon is talking about Pega server startup. So whenever you are planning to work on Pega, what you have to do is, like, you have to start 5 minutes early, and you just have to simply click on Pega server startup. So what it will do, whatever Pega software, it is not going to be some plug and play mechanism. Okay, you have to start the server and you have to work on it, and once you are completely done, you have to shut down the server. That is what you have to do. Okay. So whenever you start the server, you will be seeing something called as server startup in so and so milliseconds. Normally, for a very fast computer, it will be somewhere near and around 2 lakhs. For some systems, it will be somewhere between 3 lakhs and all. Mine is a moderate system, so it is ranging between 2,70,000. Okay, milliseconds. Okay, so when you see this particular message only, server startup in so and so, then only you have to proceed with the opening part. How you will open Pega? The second icon, that is PRPC 7.2.2 login. you just simply click on it. Whatever default browser that you have, if it is Internet Explorer, that is completely fine, but Chrome is a little bit faster. Okay, so in the Internet Explorer, it will take you to your this particular window where you can key in that particular administrator at pega.com and password as install, and then you can create your own application.
Kumar, one doubt.
Yes.
Actually, if Internet Explorer is not the default browser, I mean, we can close it off and we can use the URL, right? Localhost
You can use it, no problem. You just simply copy it and you can use in different this one.
Yeah, so
Internet
that
Explorer, you don't need to do it in the Internet Explorer. Okay, even I will be explaining all the classes in the Chrome. Okay, so once you are completely done, every day, no matter what, how busy you are, whenever you are leaving the system, before shutting it down, always make sure that you are shutting down your Pega server. Because if you miss and if you shut down your system unexpectedly, next time your server may start or may not start. So what is the big deal? Whatever progress that you have done till date may be lost, because like you have to remove everything, whatever that extraction or whatever installation folder that you have given, everything you have to remove, and whatever icons that are there in the desktop you have to remove and you have to reinstall it. Okay, no way. This is a personal edition which is given as free by Pega Systems just to encourage Pega learning. Okay, so we should be careful enough to shut it down once we are done with the Pega practice. Okay, that particular URL they will be sharing you. It is going to be some 4 GB software. So please make sure that you are doing it over Wi-Fi so that things will not go in negative direction. Okay, so it will shut it down. It will shut down eventually. It's finished. Okay. So it is shut down. Logging shutdown complete. Normally it will close the window also automatically. So this is how you are going to install it, and this is how you are going to create the application also. So please make sure that you have completed the installation stuff and also the application creation part, because like tomorrow we are going to start with the very basic point called as classes. Very important concept. Okay. So that is all for the day, and you just simply complete this one. So if you did not get any link, please do let me know. At maths by day after tomorrow we'll close the installation stuff. Okay, so don't worry, initially we'll be going a little bit slow, but once we are comfortable enough we'll pick up the pace, because like till now I believe some of you did not touch the tool, so I want that familiarity on the tool also. Once we have that familiarity, we'll go a little bit faster. Okay, so that is all for the day, and we'll catch up tomorrow morning again. Sorry, tomorrow evening. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.